There's a moment in every life when the ordinary cracks, and something that seemed absolutely impossible begins to move toward you, as if it had always been on the way. This message is about that moment, not as a fairy tale, not as a superstition, but as a precise inner mechanism, the power of belief acting in your subconscious mind. When you truly listen, not only with your ears, but with your inner attention, this kind of message does not just entertain you, it reprograms you. It sows something new, and what is sown in the subconscious mind never returns empty. So when you hear the words, listen to this message and something impossible will happen, understand this clearly. The impossible we are talking about is the barrier your own mind created around what is possible. As those walls dissolve, life responds in ways that, from the old point of view, look like miracles. Imagine that at this very moment, while you sit, maybe with your phone in your hand, maybe resting after a long day, an invisible work is already starting inside you. You don't see gears turning or wires being plugged in, but your attention is opening a door. The same way a seed placed in the soil does not explode into a tree in 1 second, the words you are hearing now sink slowly into the deeper layers of your mind. And the subconscious does what it has always done. It accepts impressions and faithfully brings them to life as conditions, experiences, and events. So the something impossible is not a magic trick outside you. It is what your subconscious can and will arrange when you align your belief with the good, the true, and the beautiful. Think about your life for a second. There's at least one area where you have quietly told yourself, perhaps for years, that would be impossible for me. Maybe it is a debt so large that your logic says there is no way out. Maybe it is a diagnosis that wears the label chronic or incurable. Maybe it is the belief that nobody ever truly stays, that deep love is not for you, only for others. The subconscious mind has been listening to these internal statements like commands. It has treated them as orders coming from the captain of the ship. And so, faithfully and without judgment, it has organized your experiences to match that pattern. You call it fate, bad luck, karma. But deep down, it is the law of mind. What you accept with feeling and repetition, you become. Now imagine the opposite. Imagine that in this very moment, as you listen, you decide to do something radical. Suspend your disbelief. Just for the duration of this message, you allow yourself to consider that your subconscious is a vast, intelligent, creative field that responds to conviction. You allow yourself to experiment with the idea that belief is not a fragile wish, but a force that shapes circumstances. Have you ever noticed how two people facing the same obstacle can live two completely different realities? One says this is the end and sinks. The other says this is the beginning of my transformation, and a way opens. The outside looks the same, but the inner decree is different. Have you noticed how your thoughts shape your reality, even in small, simple things? You wake up already complaining internally. Today will be heavy. People will annoy me. Nothing ever works out. And somehow the day obeys. You meet exactly the kind of people who disturb your peace. Tiny problems multiply. Delays and misunderstandings appear. On another day, you rise with a different inner phrase. Today, I walk under divine guidance. Everything collaborates with my good. And even when a difficulty appears, solutions come with speed and grace. This is not coincidence. It is the subconscious mind following the tone of your belief. Modern psychology speaks about cognitive bias and confirmation patterns. Spiritual teaching speaks about faith, law of mind, and the power of the word. These are two languages describing the same dynamic. Your conscious mind chooses the thoughts, and your subconscious mind proves them right by organizing your perceptions and experiences to match. When Joseph Murphy said that the subconscious mind is like a fertile soil that receives every seed, he was not speaking poetically. He was describing a strict, impersonal law. The seed does not need to be good to grow. It only needs to be planted and watered with emotion and repetition. So when you hear, listen to this message and something impossible will happen. Think of it as a deliberate planting. The words are designed to bypass your habitual doubt and speak directly to that deeper part of you. Not because this video has any magic of its own, but because your decision to believe, even a little, turns the key. The impossible that begins to move is the old belief that locked you into lack, illness, loneliness, or confusion. As that belief loosens its grip, the flow of life, which was always there, finds a new channel through which to express itself. You experience it as a surprising opportunity, a healing, a reconciliation, a door opening where there was only wall. In science, you learn that a small change in initial conditions can alter the entire trajectory of a system. In spirituality, you learn that a small change in belief can alter the entire trajectory of a life. One new inner sentence, held with feeling, can erase years of silent self-sabotage. One sincere decision to trust in a higher wisdom within you can start a chain of events that your rational mind would never be able to plan. What if this message is exactly that small change for you? If you believe there's something greater guiding your life, subscribe now and like this video to continue your transformation journey. When you do this, don't do it mechanically. Do it as a conscious act of alignment. Say to yourself, I choose to place my mind under the guidance of the infinite. I choose to learn how to believe. Your subconscious mind does not speak English or Portuguese. It speaks in images, feelings, and repetitive impressions. So as you listen, begin to imagine yourself on the other side of what you once called impossible. See the debt paid, the test results reversed, the relationship healed, the door opened. Do not worry yet about how it will happen. The conscious mind tends to get lost in mechanisms, but the subconscious works by the pattern you give it, not by the details you understand. Your job is to choose and believe. Its job is to orchestrate and manifest. Right now, as you hear these words, your breathing slows slightly, your attention is focused, and you become more receptive. This is a natural, light state in which suggestions sink deeply. So let this sink in. Within you, there's a point of contact with a limitless, benevolent intelligence. It knows paths you cannot see. It knows connections you cannot predict. It knows how to rearrange events, people, and resources in ways your logic would call impossible. When you align your belief with this inner presence, you stop fighting life and start cooperating with it. Ask yourself now, with honesty, which area of your life seems most impossible today? Is it your finances, your health, your emotional life, your sense of purpose? Just noticing this is already powerful because it reveals the belief that will be transformed. You might even write it down later. Until today, I believe it was impossible to underscore. This, until today, is the door. And as we go deeper into this journey together, hold one idea quietly in your heart. You are not condemned to live inside your old conclusions about yourself. Your past is not a prison. It is a pattern. And every pattern can be changed when new belief is introduced. Let us go deeper into how belief actually works in the mind, so you understand not only that it works, but why. Your mind is one, but it operates on two levels. On the surface, you have the conscious mind, the rational part of you that analyzes, compares, judges, and chooses. Beneath that, like an ocean under a wave, you have the subconscious mind, the deeper intelligence that runs your body, records every impression, and expresses what you habitually feel and accept as true. Belief is the bridge between these two levels. When you say, I believe, you are doing more than expressing an opinion. You are impressing a pattern. Imagine your conscious mind as the gardener and your subconscious as the soil. Every time you repeat something with feeling, nothing ever works for me, or somehow, life always helps me, you are planting a seed. You may not see anything above the surface for a while, but underground, the seed is splitting, expanding, sending roots. One day, what you call just a thought appears as a situation in your life. You say, I knew it, without realizing that you helped to create it. Belief, then, is not just an abstract idea. It is a directing force. And like electricity or gravity, it does not care whether you use it wisely or foolishly. Your subconscious does not argue, does not laugh, does not say, "This is nonsense." It accepts what the conscious mind gives it and works to make it real. That is why people who constantly repeat, "I can't," end up surrounded by evidence that they are right, while those who quietly affirm, "I can," find doors opening where others see only walls. Think of someone who recovered from a disease after doctors had given up. Often, if you listen to their story, you will hear something like, "I decided I would not die from this. I began to see myself well. I refused the image of being a victim." Or think of people who came out of ruinous debt. They will say, "I stopped confessing lack all day. I began to speak of abundance even before it appeared. I believed that a way existed, even if I could not see it." From the outside, these stories look like exceptions. From the inside, they are demonstrations of the same law. Belief impressed on the subconscious changes the expression of life. Have you ever wondered why some people, who are not particularly moral or spiritual, seem to prosper, while others who try to do good stay stuck? Joseph Murphy insisted on this point again and again. The subconscious does not reward goodness and punish badness. It responds to belief. You can be a kind, gentle person and still carry powerful beliefs in limitation, unworthiness, and failure. These beliefs will sabotage your efforts. On the other hand, someone with questionable ethics but strong conviction of success may attract wealth and opportunities because they are aligned with that belief. This is not an approval of their character. It is a description of how mind works. The good news is that you do not need to become someone you are not. You do not need to imitate others. You only need to redirect your belief toward the good, consciously and deliberately. Picture your subconscious as a faithful servant who has been carrying out mistaken orders for years. If you have been saying, "I always attract the wrong person," it has been matching you with people who fit that script. If you have been declaring, "I am terrible with money," it has been making sure you misread contracts, miss opportunities, or feel fear around every financial decision. The moment you change the order, the direction of the energy changes. This is why listening to a message like this is not a passive act. You are not just consuming information, you are practicing new inner sentences. As you hear phrases about divine guidance, healing, prosperity, you're being invited to try them on inside. To say quietly, "Yes, this is for me. Yes, I accept this is true about my life." That yes is the beginning of a new belief. There's a mysterious and beautiful cooperation between science and spirituality here. Neuroscience tells us that repeated thoughts carve pathways in the brain. They become default routes for electrical impulses. New thoughts, repeated and felt, create new pathways. In spiritual language, repeated thoughts, accepted with feeling, become beliefs in the subconscious, and the subconscious expresses them as your experience. Two descriptions, one process. So how does something impossible become possible? It happens when a belief that once said, "No way," is replaced by a belief that says, "Of course." Imagine someone who has never in their life seen a sum of money larger than a few hundred at a time. For them, receiving 10,000 at once feels not just unlikely, but impossible. Their subconscious is calibrated to smallness. If you suddenly gave them a huge amount, they might unconsciously sabotage it, spend it irrationally, or attract situations that drain away. But if that person spends months impressing the idea, large sums of money flow to me in perfect ways. I handle them wisely, calmly, and with gratitude. Their inner calibration begins to change. One day, what used to feel impossible begins to feel natural. Then the outer experience arrives, and they call it a miracle. In the same way, someone who has known only turbulent relationships might secretly believe peaceful love is not real. As long as this belief holds, every healthy person they meet will seem boring or not my type, and every chaotic person will feel strangely attractive. But when that person begins to affirm, "I believe in calm, respectful, joyful love," It exists, and I am worthy of it. The subconscious mind begins to shift their preferences, their perceptions, their energy. They start to notice what they once ignored and ignore what once fascinated them. Then, almost by surprise, they find themselves in a relationship that once felt impossible. Which area of your life do you repeat the same painful pattern in? Relationships? Money? Health? Work? Observe without judgment. This observation is powerful because it shows you exactly where a belief is waiting to be transformed. And now, let us connect this to something very practical: your participation. This is not a message to make you dependent. It is a message to remind you that your word is creative. The comments you leave, the way you engage, can become part of your own mental reprogramming. So when you hear something that resonates with the deepest part of you, don't just nod silently. Speak it, write it, declare it. Have you ever written down a powerful sentence and read it again months later, amazed at how it came true? That is not an accident. That is your subconscious receiving a written command and working on it in silence. Let us now go to the heart of application: how to use belief consciously so that your subconscious mind becomes a collaborator in your miracles. Joseph Murphy called this scientific prayer, not in the sense of lab coats and microscopes, but in the sense of a method that can be understood, practiced, and repeated. Scientific prayer is the art of uniting your conscious intention with your subconscious acceptance. It is belief in action. The first element is clarity. You cannot believe in a vague fog. You need a definite idea. Instead of "I want my life to improve," which is beautiful but indistinct, you might form "I am now guided to the right work where I serve joyfully and am richly compensated," or "My body is filled with divine life, and every cell vibrates with health." When you articulate it clearly, your conscious mind knows what seed is planting. The second element is feeling. The subconscious is moved not by cold words, but by words warmed with emotion. This does not mean you must force intense feelings. It means that you gently invite your heart to participate. When you say, "I am divinely guided," allow a tiny sense of peace to arise. When you affirm, "Prosperity flows to me," permit yourself a small smile of relief. That feeling is the water that nourishes the seed. The third element is repetition. No farmer plants a seed and then digs it up every hour to see if it is growing. In the same way, you must give your new belief time to root. You repeat your affirmation calmly, regularly, especially in states of relaxation, just before sleep, just after waking, while walking quietly, or listening to a message like this. Each repetition deepens the groove. Here is a simple practice you can begin tonight. Before you sleep, close your eyes and imagine that your conscious mind is the captain of a ship giving orders to the crew below, your subconscious. Choose one impossible area and form it into a clear statement in the present tense, as if it is already being handled. For example, infinite intelligence in my subconscious now dissolves all debt and opens streams of income in perfect ways. Or, the divine healing presence in me restores every cell of my body to perfect order. Say it slowly, kindly, 3, 5, or 10 times, just enough for it to sink in with meaning. Then, as you drift to sleep, refuse to rehearse the old fear. If the old thought appears, "This will never change," gently replace it. "No, something wonderful is already happening. The infinite is at work in me." As you do this night after night, your subconscious receives a new dominant pattern. Days later, you may feel an impulse to call someone, apply for something, read a certain book, or change a habit. Follow these quiet prompts. They're often the way in which the subconscious organizes action. When you cooperate instead of ignoring them, you become an active participant in your own impossible becoming possible. Visualization is another powerful instrument of belief. If your conscious mind can form a vivid picture of a desired outcome, your subconscious will take it as a blueprint. You don't need to see every detail. You need to feel the essence. For example, if your desire is financial freedom, you might not know exactly where the money will come from, but you can visualize opening your banking app and feeling calm, safe, and grateful. You can see yourself paying bills easily, giving generously, and still having more. That image, combined with the belief that you are guided and supported, becomes a magnet. If your desire is healing, you can imagine yourself moving with ease, doing something that once was difficult, and experiencing joy in your body. As you hold that picture without strain, your subconscious mind begins to adjust patterns in your nervous system, your hormones, your habits, in ways you might never consciously detect. Later, when the doctor says, "Your numbers are improving," you call it impossible, yet it is exactly what you instructed life to do. Now, I want to invite you to make a conscious inner declaration right here, inside this video. Ask yourself, which area of your life do you most want to transform through belief? Your relationships, your finances, your body, your emotional peace, your spiritual connection? Don't overthink. The first answer is usually right. Tell us in the comments which area of your life you want to transform. Your word is a powerful seed. When you name it, you are not just informing us. You are informing your subconscious. You are saying, "This is the pattern I choose to change. This is where my belief will work." And now, let us light a fire inside that belief. If, while listening, you feel even a small stirring, a sense of, "Yes, this is true. Something greater is in me," honor it. Comment, "I believe in divine power," if you feel this awakening within you. This is more than engagement. It is a spiritual act. You are declaring to yourself, to life, and to that deeper intelligence in you, "I choose faith over fear. I choose to cooperate with the infinite." Have you ever noticed how, when you switch from complaining to gratitude in a single day, the entire atmosphere seems to change? You may still have the same challenges, but you feel carried instead of crushed. That shift is belief in motion. Gratitude is one of the purest expressions of belief, because it thanks for the good even before it is fully visible. When you say, "Thank you, Divine Mind, for the solution that is already unfolding," you are aligning your inner state with the reality you wish to see. Scientific prayer is not begging a distant God to change his mood about you. It is aligning your own mind with the ever-available good. It is saying, "I know now that life is for me. I know that the infinite within me desires my expansion, my healing, my joy. I accept this and I cooperate with it through my belief." Perhaps there's a part of you that still whispers, "But what if I believe and nothing happens?" This is a very human fear, and it deserves a kind answer. The truth is, something always happens when you impress your subconscious with sincere belief. Sometimes the outer result appears quickly and dramatically. Other times, the first changes are inside, a new calm, a new patience, a new wisdom. In both cases, the impossible is being dismantled. The old belief that said, "You are alone, abandoned, punished," is replaced by the new belief that says, "You are guided, loved, supported." From that new inner state, different choices are made, different actions are taken, and different doors appear. So instead of asking, "What if nothing happens?" ask, "What if I become the kind of person for whom miracles are natural?" This is what belief does. It changes not just events, but identity. You stop seeing yourself as a victim of fate and begin to recognize yourself as a conscious co-creator with the infinite mind. We are coming to the emotional crescendo of this journey. And now it is time to bring everything together into a living, breathing practice that you can carry into your days. The title that brought you here promised. Listen to this message and something impossible will happen. You have heard how the subconscious mind receives belief as law, how scientific prayer works, how visualization, gratitude, and repetition transform patterns. Now, let us crystallize this into a new inner posture that will continue long after this video ends. First, realize that the real miracle is already happening. You're no longer completely identified with your fears. You have contemplated the possibility that your mind is not a prison, but a doorway. You have seen that what you called impossible was in many ways a conclusion drawn from past pain, not a final verdict from God. The moment you see this, even for a second, something impossible has already shifted. The belief that you are stuck forever has cracked. From this point on, your task is not to manufacture miracles with strain, but to remain available to the infinite within you. Joseph Murphy would often say that the power is not in the words themselves, but in the faith behind them. Your subconscious mind is the channel. The divine presence is the source. Your belief is the switch. So here is a simple, powerful way to live what you have heard. Each morning, before you touch your phone or plunge into the noise of the world, place one hand on your heart and say calmly, "Divine presence within me, I believe that you are guiding my life today. I believe that what seemed impossible is being rearranged for my highest good. I walk this day in trust." Feel the weight of your hand, the rhythm of your breath, and let a small sense of peace arise. This is you placing your belief under divine direction. Throughout the day, when old thoughts of fear or limitation appear, and they will, do not panic or blame yourself. Simply recognize them as echoes of old beliefs. You can say internally, "Thank you for trying to protect me, but I no longer live in that story. I now believe in divine order, supply, and healing." In that moment, you are choosing a new pattern. At night, just before sleep, repeat your key belief in a few simple sentences. Infinite intelligence in my subconscious is now resolving this situation in perfect ways. I let go and trust. Or, the healing power of God flows through me, restoring every cell and every organ. As you drift into the subconscious state of sleep, these words go down like seeds into fertile soil. You may not understand how, but something is being set in motion. Over time, you will notice signs. A sudden idea that solves a problem that has tormented you for months. A meeting that seems accidental but turns out to be pivotal. A change in your own behavior. You find yourself calmer where you once exploded, confident where you once froze. These are not small things. They are evidence that belief is restructuring your inner world. What is the first positive thought you will plant in your subconscious today? Let it be something simple and radiant, like, "I am guided, loved, and supported by a power greater than my fears." Or, "My life is opening in beautiful, surprising ways." When you choose this first thought consciously, you anchor your day in faith instead of in anxiety. And keep remembering, the impossible is not a fixed category. Many of the comforts you consider normal today, instant communication across the world, healing procedures, social changes, were once considered ridiculous, even dangerous. Humanity's collective beliefs evolved, and the once impossible became everyday reality. In the same way, your personal impossibles are waiting to be reclassified. What you once thought you could never overcome can become your testimony. What you once feared would destroy you can become the story of how you found God within. Have you ever met someone who told you, "I went through something so dark that I thought I would never survive, and yet today I am grateful because it woke me up"? That is belief purified by experience. That is the subconscious mind, once filled with fear, now filled with trust. You're on the same path. As you finish this message, do not let it be just another video. Let it be a covenant between you and the infinite intelligence within you. Say internally, "From this day on, I choose to believe in the good. I choose to believe that I am not alone. I choose to believe that the same power that created galaxies lives in my subconscious and is ready to guide me." And if your heart is moved, seal this decision with a simple act. Speak it out loud. Write it down. Share it with someone who needs hope. There is a mysterious multiplication when belief is shared. The same law of mind that works in you works in all. When you lift your consciousness, you contribute to lifting the whole. Like this video and subscribe to the channel to continue your journey of personal, mental, financial, and spiritual transformation. The power is within you, and each new video is a step to awaken it. Your subconscious heard that. Let work.